I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee. But I know I'll be a loss. Yeah, yeah, 'cause I hope and pray that I'll but today I'm
Good morning. This is the LiberalOasis radio show. I am Bill Scher. Thanks for being with us this morning. Later in the broadcast, Reverend Peter Ives from the First Churches in downtown Northampton talking about tomorrow's Raise the Roof benefit concert. But before then, I think this is a pretty interesting week in sizing up how a potential Obama versus McCain contest is going to go. I had an interesting exchange. I do a thing called bloggingheads.tv every so often with Con Carroll of the Heritage Foundation. You can probably see our segment up at bloggingheads.tv. He tells me that conservative bloggers were unimpressed with McCain's Service to America tour this week, which I thought was very strange. If McCain's not going to win the election talking about, issues. He is out of step with America on foreign policy, particularly Iraq. He's out of step with America on the economy. There was an interesting back and forth between Obama and McCain earlier. McCain had given a speech on the housing crisis that both Obama and Clinton noted did not contain any actual policy ideas. I mean, literally, there's nothing. So Obama had given a speech saying not one idea, not one policy, not one bit of relief for homeowners. The McCain campaign responds in a statement that it's a blatant mischaracterization. Is what they said. Obama has had a blatant mischaracterization of McCain's speech, and the statement then proceeded to not include any policy ideas. So that's the way this is going to go. He's just not going to get a leg up talking about domestic issues. But particularly on foreign policy, I've been talking on this show for a while about the issue of permanent bases in Iraq, that this is the real fault line. This is what separates the neocons from the rest of us. That is a fundamentally flawed policy goal that is going to guarantee more destabilization and violence in the Middle East. But you've rarely seen Democrats put that issue front and center. All the Democrats who ran for president were opposed to permanent bases. They had that position, but they weren't making any central argument in creating a contrast between themselves and the Republican Party, which I thought was a huge missed opportunity. Now you have everyone talking about McCain's comment that he wants to stay in Iraq for 100 years. This is a comment you may be aware of. He made it in December. Not that much was made of it immediately, except on the blogosphere. You didn't see Democrats really jump on it that much. But it's percolated now. The McCain folks realize they got a problem on their hands. But just so you know, McCain's trying to say people are lying about what he said. This is what he actually said in December in New Hampshire.
Bush has talked about our staying in Iraq for 50 years.
Maybe 100.
Is that
We've been in South Korea. We've been in Japan for 60 years. We've been in South Korea for 50 years or so. That'd be fine with me, as long as Americans are not being injured or harmed or wounded or killed. It's fine with me. I hope it will be fine with you if we maintain a presence in a very volatile part of the world where Al-Qaeda is training, recruiting, and equipping and motivating people every single day.
So he's trying to whine and complain. Democrats are saying that I want a 100-year war. I don't want a 100-year war. Listen to the full statement. Don't take it out of context. Hey, fine with me. Play the whole tape. Hear the whole context. I want to maintain a 100-year presence in a volatile region of the world. He believes that this is a good policy idea that is going to create stability and prosperity for Iraqis. Doesn't seem to care about what the Iraqi people think. Poll shows they are widely, not only deeply opposed to it, but there's direct link between support for permanent bases and support for attacking U.S. troops. This doesn't seem to factor in with John McCain. So he's getting a little bit of headway with the media and trying to that people are mischaracterizing what he said. This is how Barack Obama handled that question on MSNBC on Hardball earlier this week.
I mean, John McCain got upset, I think, today, apparently, because I had repeated exactly what he said, which is that we might be there for 100 years if he had his way. Now, he's now arguing, well, I didn't mean that we would be fighting a war for 100 years. We might just be present. What he is talking about is having a permanent occupation and permanent bases inside of Iraq. We are spending right now $10 to $12 billion a month inside of Iraq. That's money that could be spent giving college scholarships to all these young people. It's money that could be spent. It's money that could be spent getting jobs here in America, rebuilding our infrastructure as I've proposed. But more importantly, it would mean a sustained presence at a time when we should be focused on finishing the war that needs to be won against Al-Qaeda in their home bases in Afghanistan and in the hills of Pakistan, where we know that they are planning to attack U.S. targets.
This is why I think this race in the general election is going to be not only exciting, but potentially transforming. We're not going to have a race where a handful of political consultants are reading parallel focus group data and are using the same buzzwords in the hopes of winning the swing vote. We're going to have a real bona fide debate over the vision for our country, our economic vision and our foreign policy vision. You cannot get a clearer contrast than what you just heard. And both candidates, Obama and McCain, and I would hope Clinton as well, if it happens she gets the nomination. I'm not sure I see the same interest in having the contrast argument with her. Not that she doesn't hold similar positions to Obama, it's a question of their political approach. Obama and McCain seem very eager to show the contrast and lay it out there and let the people decide. That could potentially bring a real mandate to the winner, and I fully expect Obama's going to come out on top of that because this is where the people are. And that's why you're going to see McCain, that's why McCain is starting this week with a biography tour. The conservatives don't seem to like that because they're still in this delusional world that the American people are fundamentally conservative. And they refuse to recognize that we have had 7+ years of conservative government that almost every American sees as an unmitigated disaster. You have 81% of the country saying the country's on the wrong track. We've had 3 months in a row of job losses. And not only do you have a Republican nominee who said before, I don't really understand the economy all that well. I need to be educated on the economy. You know, those sorts of gaffes don't necessarily become damning. But if you don't produce any logical or compelling economic proposals, if you're just offering the same kind of hands-off neglect that we've had for 7 years, you're not going to turn that gaffe around. So his best shot is biography. The conservatives are going to be grousing about it. In the meantime, we're on the verge of having a real meaty policy debate that could really help shift this country, bring about lasting change, not just ephemeral surface change, but something that's deep that could really make things happen. When we come back, we'll be talking to Reverend Peter Ives of the First Churches of downtown Northampton, talking about tomorrow's benefit concert, Raise the Roof, at 2 p.m. at the Calvin Theater, and also how religion and politics have intermingled in this presidential race. Has it been a positive? Has it been a negative? Where does it go from here? We'll ask him. On the Liberal Oasis radio show, this is Bill Scher, WHMP, News, Information, and the Arts. Back after this.